Welcome to Glorious IAS Academy. Myself Sandeep Reddy. Today we are going to discuss the first session of the polity, that is introduction to the polity. Introduction to the polity. Polity యొక్క పరిచయం, రాజ్యాంగం యొక్క పరిచయం తెలుసుకుందాం. What is in this session we are going to discuss the following sessions. First of all, what is polity? Polity అంటే ఏంటి? రాజ్యాంగం అంటే ఏంటి? And why do we what is constitution and why should we need the constitution? రాజ్యాంగం అంటే ఏంటి? రాజకీయ వ్యవస్థ అంటే ఏంటి? why should we have a constitution? మనకు రాజ్యాంగం ఎందుకు అవసరం? and there is a రాజ్యాంగ వాదం, తెలుగులో దీన్ని రాజ్యాంగ వాదం అంటారు, కాన్స్టిట్యూషనలిజం అండ్ కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్. రాజ్యాంగం అంటే ఏంటిది? రాజ్యాంగ వాదం, రాజ్యాంగం వాదం మధ్య డిఫరెన్స్ ఏంటి, తేడా ఏంటి? అండ్ టైప్స్ ఆఫ్ కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్స్, వాట్ ఆర్ డిఫరెంట్ టైప్ ఆఫ్ కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్ దట్ ఆర్ మెన్షన్డ్ ఇన్ ఇండియన్ కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్ యాజ్ వెల్ యాజ్ ది by the various scholars. And syllabus of the constitution, syllabus we are going to deal with the syllabus, in detail for the APPSC, TSPSC as well as the UPSC syllabus. And next, trends of the polity. Trends of the polity means how many questions are going to come from the polity and constitution in civil service examination, TSPSC as well as the UPSC and APPSC. And source, where do we study what are the sources for the polity? So going next, one we are going to discuss the first, what is polity? What do you mean by polity? So polity nothing but polity means political system or government. So what do you mean literally, what do you mean by polity? The word polity is derived from Politia, which is a Greek word. What do you mean by Politia? It may be government, it may be political system, it may be state. What do you mean by state? The state is mentioned in the Indian Constitution in the form of the Article 12 as well as the 36. Article 12, Article 36 of Indian Constitution. The definition of the state is mentioned in the Indian Constitution. But according to the various scholars, like the father of the polity, Aristotle, what do you mean by the state? State has mainly four principles. Number one, state should have land, particular territory. Today if you are going to take the India has a particular territory. Particular territorial waters as well as the land. So a state should have a land and the people should live in it. Today India has 1.3 billion people are living in India. And next one, a strong government should be there. And most important thing, it should have sovereignty. Nothing but సౌభ్రోత్వం. ఒక పర్టికులర్ ప్రదేశం కావాలి, అందులో నివాసయోగ్యమైనటువంటి ప్రదేశం, అందులో నివాసులు ఉండాలి, మీన్స్ ప్రజలు ఉండాలి, దానికి ఒక ప్రభుత్వం ఉండాలి, దానికి సౌభ్రాతృత్వం ఉండాలి. ఈ 4 ప్రిన్సిపల్స్ ఇఫ్ ఏ కంట్రీ షుడ్ సాటిస్ఫై దీస్ 4 principles in order to call as a state. The state is mentioned in the Indian Constitution, most important as examination point of view. The definition of the state mentioned in the Article 12 as well as the Article 36. Article 12 is clearly defined the what is state. In the Indian Constitution, state nothing but government. It may be central government, it may be state government, and local bodies, and all authorities, all combinedly known as state as per the Indian Constitution. As per the Indian Constitution, government, central government, state government, local bodies, and all authorities, all combinedly known as all decision made from the all authorities, all rules and regulations made by the central government, state government, local bodies, and all authorities in the Indian Constitution can be known as state. State nothing but combinedly known as state. But according to the various scholars that are coming with that are in the various times, they have come up with the particular 4 principles: land, people, government, and sovereignty. The country should satisfy these 4 principles in order to call as state. And next one, if you move forward, already we have discussed about the polity. So what do you believe about it? It is politia. It is nothing but state. A group of people having specified land, government, and sovereignty. And it is mentioned in the Article 12 and 36 of the Indian Constitution. So who is the father of the polity? Aristotle can be known as the father of polity. Why? Because the very firstly he explained about the principles of the state and citizenship and the form of the government. That's why he came to known as father of polity. So, and move forward, Indian polity largely managed by the government, which is combination of the 3 organs. So as per the Indian Constitution, the polity not only the executive, it is also the legislature and judiciary. Simply put, the polity as per the Indian Constitution, as well as according to the various scholars that are coming with the definition, polity is not only the polity largely nothing but government, which include all 3 organs. ప్రభుత్వం అంటే కేవలము కార్యనిర్వహణ శాఖ మాత్రమే కాదు, శాసన నిర్మాణ శాఖ మరియు న్యాయశాఖ, కార్యనిర్వహణ శాఖ, శాసన శాఖ అండ్ న్యాయశాఖ మూడింటిని కలిపి మనం ప్రభుత్వం అంటాం. సో ఈ మూడు దేని విధంగా నడుచుకుంటాయి, దేని ప్రకారం నడుచుకుంటాయి అంటే కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్ ప్రకారం నడుచుకుంటాయి. సో ఆల్ దీస్ 3 organs, they are derived their powers, their authorities from the Indian Constitution. That's why we are studying the Indian Constitution. You are studying the Indian Constitution nothing but you are studying about the executive, legislature and judiciary. Their powers, we are going to study their powers. And a constitution not only give the powers to these 3 organs, it also impose the restrictions, limitations on the powers of these 3 organs. So according to the what is largely polity nothing but is a state. It is a state, nothing but government, which consisting of 3 organs: executive, legislature and judiciary. And these three organs derived their powers from the కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్. రాజ్యాంగం అనుసరించి ఇవి నడుచుకుంటాయి. ఈ మూడు శాఖలు రాజ్యాంగాన్ని అనుసరించి నడుచుకుంటాయి. ఈ మూడు శాఖలు రాజ్యాంగాన్ని అనుసరించి నడుచుకుంటాయి. సో వాట్ యు మీన్ బై ఎగ్జిక్యూటివ్? ఇన్ ఎగ్జిక్యూటివ్ మీన్స్ కార్యనిర్వహణ శాఖ. ఇట్ విల్ రూల్ ద కంట్రీ. It will rule the country, and a legislature nothing but it will frame the rules and it will frame the laws, law making, and those laws implemented by the and ruling and administration management done by the executive, and law making power will stay with the legislature. The main duty of the legislature discussing about the actions done by the executive as well as the law making power. The law making power attributed to the legislature. And judiciary nothing but it will pronounce the judgment. And it will solve the problems of the people as well as impose some kind of the verdicts on the executive and legislature. It will check the power of the executive and legislature when they go out of their limitations, when they exercise more power out of the constitution. The judiciary will come into the exist and put forward some limitations on the executive as well as the legislature. If you move forward, what is polity? We have already discussed this. And the polity is combinedly known as three organs. The polity is the combination of the three organs. Executive, legislature as well as the judiciary. All three organs managed according to the indication. They derived their powers from the constitution. Constitution. The constitution will give the powers to every organ, and it will give the directions to every organ, and so this largely the polity is study about the Indian constitution. If you study the Indian constitution, nothing but you are studying the Indian polity. Next one, what is constitution? Now we discussed about the polity. What is polity? Where it is come? The word the polity derived from the Greek word the politia, which means state. State has a four principles. And what is polity? It is combined in three organs: executive, legislature and judiciary. Now these three organs derived their power from the constitution. Now we are going to discuss the constitution. What do you mean by constitution? The word constitution nothing but it came from the constitutio. The రాజ్యాంగం అనేది కాన్స్టిట్యూషియో అనే పదం నుంచి ఆవిర్భవించింది. కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్ అనే పదం కాన్స్టిట్యూషియో అనే పదం నుంచి ఆవిర్భవించింది. అండ్ దెర్ ఆర్ సర్టెన్ ప్రిన్సిపల్స్ ఆఫ్ ది కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్. కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్ నథింగ్ బట్ ఈజ్ అ ఫండమెంటల్ లా. ఇట్ ఈస్ ఏ ఫండమెంటల్ లా. ఎవ్రీ ఆర్గాన్, ఎవ్రీ పర్సన్, ఎవ్రీ అథారిటీ, దే ఆర్ నాట్ అబోవ్ ద కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్. Constitution is the supreme and fundamental law. Every human being, those who are living in a particular state, they should follow the rules and regulations that are framed by the constitution. రాజ్యాంగం అంటే ప్రతి ఒక్క పౌరుడు దేశంలో రాజ్యాంగం యొక్క నియమ నిబంధనలను అనుసరించే జీవిస్తాడు. కార్యనిర్వహణ శాఖ కానీ, శాసన నిర్మాణ శాఖ కానీ, న్యాయ శాఖ కానీ, అన్ని శాఖలు తమ పవర్స్ని, తమ అధికారాలని, తమ పరిమితులని రాజ్యాంగాన్ని అనుసరించే నడుచుకుంటాయి. సో కాబట్టి రాజ్యాంగం ఈజ్ ద సుప్రీం అండ్ ఫండమెంటల్ లా. ఇట్ ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్స్ ద పవర్స్. ఆఫ్ ది ఆర్గన్స్. We already discussed legislature and judiciary and executive, they are derived their powers, and it explains the powers. What different type of judicial powers are there, executive powers are there, legislative powers are there, lot of bench of the powers for every organ. And it also explains the balance of power. Every organ they have their own powers and limitations. A organ should not interfere in other two organs. First, for example, the executive should not interfere into the judicial powers as well as the legislative powers, as well as the legislature should not interfere into the judicial as well as the executive, and judiciary should not interfere into the other two organs. So everyone, they have their own powers and limitations. That is called balance of power. These balance are the principles of the balance power that are mentioned in the Indian Constitution. So it is there is a separation of powers among the three organs. So it also imposes the restrictions, and not only it gives the powers, it also imposes the restrictions. So that is called the balance of power. And balance of power we have already discussed, and it details the rights and duties. It not only gives the powers and limitations to the three organs, it also mentions the what are the duties of the citizens of the country, what are the fundamental rights of the citizens of the country. Every citizen in the country, they should have, they not only have the rights, they also duties to discharge their duties. విధులు మాత్రమే రాజ్యాంగం ప్రతి పౌరునికి ప్రాథమిక హక్కులతో పాటు ప్రాథమిక విధులు. నీకు ఒక హక్కు ఉన్నట్లయితే ఆ హక్కుతో పాటు ఒక విధి కూడా ఉంటుంది. అంటే నువ్వు మినిమం చేయాల్సిన పనులు రాజ్యాంగాన్ని మినిమం, ఇఫ్ యూ ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ యూ షుడ్ రెస్పెక్ట్ ది ఇండియన్ ఫ్లాగ్, ఇండియన్ యాంథమ్. దీస్ ఆర్ ద ఫండమెంటల్ డ్యూటీస్. యూ షుడ్ ప్రొటెక్ట్ ద ఎన్విరాన్మెంట్, యూ షుడ్ క్లీన్ ద కంట్రీ, యూ షుడ్ మేక్ the country should be clean. There is a minimum duties that should be discharged by the Indian citizens or any citizens of the country. And also you should have a minimum rights. Those are called as fundamental rights, fundamental duties and fundamental rights. So the constitution will give fundamental. In further sessions we are going to discuss the fundamental rights. It is a very big chapter in the very biggest chapter in the Indian polity, and a fundamental duties. And it details the preamble as well as the directive principle of state policy, as well as we will also discuss about the preamble and the directive principles of the state policy. And next one, why should అసలు మనకు రాజ్యాంగం ఎందుకు, రాజ్యాంగం అంటే ఏంటో నేర్చుకున్నాం. తర్వాత రాజ్యాంగం మనకు ఎందుకు అవసరం రాజ్యాంగం. ఇఫ్ యూ గో ఇండస్ వ్యాలీ సివిలైజేషన్, దేర్ వాజ్ ఎ పొలిటికల్ సిస్టమ్ headed by the Rajan. The Rajan also accompanied by the commander-in-chief and various officers to rule the Indus Valley civilization. After it is followed by the other civilizations, Harappas, Guptas, Mahajanapadas. In the medieval period, the Mughals were ruled in India, and there was a various political systems that are adopted by the various kings in the modern Mughal period. After the Battle of Buxar and Battle of Plassey, the British took over the Diwani powers in the Bengal. And they ruled over the main three provinces, Bengal, as well as the Madras, as well as the Calcutta. Bengal, Madras, as well as the Bombay. There are the three main presidencies that are ruled by the Britishers. And with the policy of annexation, the different tools were used by the Britishers, and they expanded their territory. Half of the territory of the India, they occupied by the British East India Company by the 1958. సో బ్రిటిషర్స్ ఇండియాకు వచ్చి వేరే విధానాల మొదట వాళ్ళు ట్రేడర్స్గా వచ్చారు, వ్యాపారులుగా వచ్చారు. చిన్నగా లోకల్ కింగ్స్తోని సంబంధాలు పెట్టుకున్నారు, రాజకీయ వ్యవహారాలలో ఇన్వాల్వ్ అయ్యారు. ఒక రాజుని ఇంకొక రాజు మీద ఉసిగొల్పారు. ఆ విధంగా రెవెన్యూ పవర్స్లో కానీ పొలిటికల్ రాజ్యాంగ వ్యవహారాలలో, ఆర్థిక వ్యవహారాల్లో తలదూర్చాలు. ఆ విధంగా బై 1958 వరకు 50% ఇండియాని వాళ్ళు ఆక్రమించుకున్నారు. బ్రిటిషర్స్ బై 1958 50% ఇండియాని ఆక్రమించుకున్నారు. మిగతా 50%ని ఇండైరెక్ట్గా కంట్రోల్ చేయడం మొదలుపెట్టారు. మిగతా 50% ప్రిన్స్లీ స్టేట్గా డివైడ్ అయింది ఇండియా. సో దేర్ ఆర్ మోర్ దాన్ 500 ప్రిన్స్లీ స్టేట్స్. వన్ ఆఫ్ ది బిగ్గెస్ట్ ప్రిన్సిపల్ స్టేట్ ఈజ్ హైదరాబాద్. Hyderabad was a princely state. Today Telangana, it was a part of the princely state of Hyderabad, indirectly controlled by the Britishers. Directly 50%, indirectly 50% of the land India was ruled by the British East India Company. Subsequently British Crown, British Parliament, British government directly. So various political systems we have adopted in various periods, ancient, medieval, as well as the modern times. But but there was no specific rules and regulations for the political system like constitution we framed in the with the help of the Constituent Assembly in 1940.